good afternoon everyone. So today, I'll be talking more about the economic side of the syntaxes. So I hope you'll be able to appreciate somehow yung natututunan niyo sa akin. Kasi when I started working for ER, mas na-appreciate ko yung economics, yung education natin from So basically, just to give you an outline of what I'll be talking about today. So first, I'll be talking about what an excise tax is. So basically, for those who don't know yet what it is. And then second, the reasons why we need to reform the current excise tax system. And the third will be the features of the House Bill 5727 with amendments. And then fourth, I'll compare the current tax system, which is the RA 9334, as against the amended HB 5727. And lastly, I'll be discussing the impacts of HB 5727 as amended. Okay. So first, what is an excise tax? So we all know that a tax is there to collect revenues for the government. But what's special about an excise tax is because unlike general consumption taxes, it is selective in coverage. So may particular products lang siyang tinatax and not like almost all the products. And then also it is discriminating in intent. So aside from raising taxes, it also has other purposes or objectives. So ano yung objectives ng excise taxation? So as I said a while ago, number one, it is to raise revenues kasi tax siya. And then number two is to discourage consumption of products that have negative externalities. So alam naman natin ano yung negative externalities. Basically, there are like negative effects of this good or this product that is parang in a way incurred by other parties and not just the consumer. Okay. So yung maganda about excise taxation basically is that it is able to hit two birds with one stone. So isa lang yung tax mo, but then you're able to solve the problem of negative externality. Okay. So now I'll be discussing why we need to reform the excise tax. Currently, RA 9334. So first, one reason is that the excise taxes have long been eroded by inflation. Ano yung problem about this? Problematic kasi basically yung taxes, yung lifeblood of the government. We need taxes to fund our programs, etc. So kapag yung taxes natin ay na-erode ng inflation or lumiliit yung value niya, yung real value niya, nadidefeat yung purpose of taxing a product. So basically, we need to know what caused this tax erosion. So first, there is, in the current tax system, there is no indexation to inflation. What that means is that the tax stays as it is from, let's say, for example, from 2005 to 2011, not indexing into inflation, meaning kahit tumataas yung prices of other goods, the tax remains the same or remains lower than the current inflation rate. And therefore, alam natin dito na in economics na if the price of something does not follow inflation, it means that the value of that good becomes lower, becomes cheaper, diba? So magiging mas affordable siya to the general populace. So from the table, what we can see is that the headline inflation from 2005 to 2011 is 41.7. So yun yung cumulative inflation rate. But then for the tax rates of some of the cigarettes, 35.0 and 34.0, that means na hindi naka-keep up yung taxes sa inflation and therefore it is eroded and the value therefore is lower. Next, there is a price classification freeze. What this means is that some brands were fixed at their 1996 prices, meaning when the bill was made, they took into consideration not the price per se, pero yung price during 1996, which means na sobrang baba pa nung price na yun as compared to yung, let's say, yung prices nila ngayon. So, what's an example of this? So first, let's take Fortune as an example. So since sabi nyo kanina, hindi kayo smokers, Fortune kasi is one of the most popular brands of cigarettes. So the current price group niya is low. Pero the appropriate price group is premium, which means na in a way, nagkaroon ng leakage in the tax. Kasi what should have been is that it should have been priced premium, tax premium, pero it is taxed low. So ano yung, how big is this in terms of the tax? Current excise tax per pack is 2.72, but the what should have been the excise tax per pack is 28.30. So the difference is around 25.58 per pack. And imagine that, for example, the Philippines is a 100 billion steak market. So mga nasa 5 billion packs yun. So sabihin mo kahit ilang percent lang yung fortune doon, ganun kalaking taxes yung nawawala because of this misclassification. So what happens here is that some brands are favored, so nadi-discriminate. Yung iba nasa 1996 prices, yung iba current prices. So doon pa lang makikita natin yung discrimination. Next, so ano yung effect of this inflation, of this tax erosion? So number one, yung obvious effect is that government revenues are diminished. So makikita niyo yung green line, that's the total excise tax collection of sin products. So that's actually very disappointing kasi based on studies and based on, well, reality in other countries, excise taxes yung one of the most reliable sources of taxes for the government. But for us, obviously, there is a declining trend. So which means that if we do not reform the tax system, obviously, bababa yung, we'll continue lang to downward. Next, so tobacco and alcohol products are getting cheaper over time. So simple lang yan in economics, lower price, higher quantity demanded. So, and then second, the current system is a breeding ground for corruption. Bakit? Kasi there are 4 tiers for cigarettes, which means that there are 4 different taxes for 4 different price categories. So sometimes the companies have the incentive to misclassify, sabihin nila na this product is low price, etc. And therefore, yung tax nila will be lower. Third, the current system is ineffective in discouraging consumption of harmful products. So bakit siya ineffective? As I've said, yung multi-tiered structure, we have 4 tiers. It leads to downshifting to low-priced products. What does that mean? The current tax system does not discourage consumption altogether. That's what we want to do it, diba? But what it does right now is to discourage consumption of the higher-priced good, but encouraging in a way a shift to the cheaper brands. So as you can see, yung sa cigarettes, nagkaroon ng downshifting. Yung low price, dumadami yung nagko-consume ng low price. Dahil nga yung tax niya ay sobrang baba compared to the higher priced cigarettes. And then the same is true for fermented liquors or beers. So yun, yung low price, tumataas din yung consumption. Also, very low tobacco taxes lead to very low tobacco prices. So the Philippines has one of the cheapest cigarettes in the world, Europe. So that's comparing the different countries. So ganun siya cheap yung sa Philippines. And as a result of this, we have a smoking prevalence that is very high. So as Sir Eric Tayag has said a while ago, we have one of the highest smoking prevalence rates in the world. So di ba medyo obvious? Kasi mas mababa yung prices natin, and therefore mas mataas yung prevalence rates natin. Next. So the burden of tobacco-related diseases is high. So based on an estimation of the economic burden for 4 smoking-related diseases, ang ibig sabihin nito, lahat ng mga yung top 4 diseases that are related to smoking, in a way, kinos kung how much yung na-cause ng smoking na losses. So that's a total of 177 billion. So you might think na, oh, baka naman over-exaggeration yan, hindi naman lahat ng lung cancer caused by smoking, for example. But basically, this is an underestimate kasi basically, hindi naman yan lang yung nakakause ng smoking na diseases. And actually, kung nabasa niyo yung study, mas marami parang in a way, conservative estimate na siya. So anyway, that's still a big number. So that's 177 billion. And actually, the economic burden is even heavier for the poor. Kasi imagine nyo, siguro hindi kayo nakaka-relate kasi hindi kayo part of this. But the thing is, imagine nyo yung poor will spend 2.9% total for education and health as opposed to 2.7% for alcohol and tobacco. So parang, when I saw this, actually, the first time I saw this, nagulat ako kasi parang, bakit ganun? Ang weird, parang halos pareho yung ginagastos nila para sa alcohol and tobacco and education and health. And I think I'm not the best person to say this, but yun nga, sabi rin ni Doc Taya kanina na smoking is killing many Filipinos. And actually, one of the top killers ata in the country. So yun nga, 240 Filipinos died. And alcohol use is the same, pag-hazardous na siya and harmful. 50% of road accidents is due to drunk driving. And a lot more statistics to corroborate the fact that both alcohol drinking and cigarette smoking are very harmful. And number 4, another reason why we need to reform is that we have to adhere to our commitment to the FCTC. So basically, FCTC is just an international treaty among countries, and we signed, which means that we have to take measures, specifically price and tax measures, to discourage consumption of cigarettes. Bakit price and tax measures specifically? Kasi studies around the world have shown that it is the single most effective means to reduce tobacco consumption. And lastly, we have to comply with the WTO ruling. So, yun nga, basically, kasi yung WTO ruling is saying that we discriminated against imported distilled spirits. So, we have to be, in a way, we have to tax them equally. Hindi yung like now na pag local distilled spirit, mas mura yung tax, and pag imported, mas mahal. So, yun lang. So, in summary, what the following features cause in a way, the erosion of the revenue being an ineffective way to discourage consumption. Kasi we have these 4 features of the current tax system. So number 1, we have low tax rates. Number 2, yung price classification freeze. Number 3, yung multi-tiered system. Number 4, wala siyang indexation to inflation. So these 4 features result in a very ineffective tax system, yung current tax system natin. So now I'll be discussing what the HB 5727 with amendments is all about. So bakit namin siyang sinasabing a good solution to all our the problems I stated, tobacco control, okay, all the smoking related problems. Anyway, so ito yung mga features niya kung bakit siya effective way. Number 1, there is an increase in tax rates, and I think significant enough yung increase in tax rates, especially for cigarettes. Number 2, we have the removal of the price classification freeze, yung sabi kong discrimination kanina. And then number 3, simplification of the system. So from 4 years, we'll be having 2 years. And then we'll be having a regular tax increase every 2 years. I'll explain that later. And now we have an earmarking for the universal health care programs and also for the alternative livelihood for the farmers. So now I'll be discussing maikli lang. So distilled spirits, ito yung mga ininom nyo na gin, vodka, etc. So we will be having 3 years for the HB 5727 based on price. So ito yung tax rates. And then indexation. Yung sinasabi ko indexation is, what that means is we have 8% increase every 2 years. So in a way, we will be able to catch up with inflation. Kasi bakit siya 8%? Kasi ang inflation targeting of the country is 4% plus minus. plus minus 1%. So for 2 years, so that's 8%. So that's 8% every 2 years. Next, so fermented liquor or beer will be having two tiers only. So 5.60 and below. So depende